Try not to get your teeth there.
Yeah, it goes this way, Nathan. It goes this way. You're after Cat, okay? Every time,
Cat.
always.
You're always after Cat. I'm always after you.
And I'm always after Juan. It's the circle.
What? JKNK. JK. JK.
Oh, this isn't recording.
Press it.
It's been pressed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite grooming podcast, another grooming podcast. I'm Juan Rivera.
I'm Kat Graney.
I'm Nathan Austin.
And I'm Kathleen Austin.
Today, hello, everybody.
Hello.
Today, we are going to be discussing the current state of the industry. There's been some topics online, some posts that kind of sparked a lot of conversation, controversial conversation, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. So it kind of inspired this episode.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about a few things. But before we do, I think Ronnie has a question for us. So we're going to go there first.
All right. Today's question is, do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
Oh my God. What the fuck?
Probably a heart attack for me.
I think I'm going to die of cancer.
Damn, I was going to say the same thing, dude.
Everybody in my family dies.
I was going to say the same
cancer.
thing. Like, what a horrible thought, right?
Yeah.
This question sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slowly and painfully from cancer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Unfortunately.
Well, I'm not the picture of health, so it'll probably be a heart attack for me. Maybe cancer.
The heart attack's not too bad. It just happens, and then you die.
I really worry I'm going to get Alzheimer's. And because I already sometimes like struggle to find names. Like I can picture the person's like face so clearly.
Babe,
but
your
their
memory's
name,
so much better than like.
No, it's been really bad lately. Like it's just sometimes words will elude me altogether. And it'll just like, I know what the word is. I know what it is, but I can't.
I think that also has to do with so much on your plate.
Maybe.
You have a lot on your plate. Because when I get more on my plate, I start losing things. I can't remember words, names, places.
You got to do some brain exercises.
So that's my.
When I get more on my plate, it goes straight to my belly.
That too.
I did just play Sudoku yesterday, Nathan.
Wow.
So
You see, you're a
I'm
genius.
strengthening my brain.
Brain games.
Brain games.
I don't
love
know.
Sudoku.
I just feel like that's gonna be it, though. Like
it's built into the Tesla.
because
Sudoku?
yeah,
That's it. We're getting a Tesla.
that's
A
what,
bunch of games are.
when we were charging, I was playing it on the thing. So that's what that's my hunch which really sucks for Nathan. So sorry.
Well,
I'll
that
help
was
take care of you if I
a
don't
terrible
die of a
question.
Heart attack.
Thanks.
If I don't die of a heart attack first, I'll help you.
Thank you.
What do you
Although
you
I'll
say
probably lose
cancer
my
too?
mind too. He'll
I
take
think
care of both
cancer
of us.
too.
Well,
That's how my mom died.
I was
I
gonna
watched
say your
my-
mom
you know,
passed
like-
away of cancer.
And then
She had lung cancer though, and she smoked her whole life. So
Have you guys heard of all the like intestinal cancer that's coming up
no.
lately? It's like
From
all
what?
the it's like it's coming up in their 40s. It's like it's super common now. Everyone's like they're getting like stomach cancer, rectal cancer, intestinal cancer because of all the food we've been eating for so long that it's finally getting to
All
and
the
it's happening
ramen?
younger and younger.
Yeah.
In their
Nice.
40s, people are trying to get screened.
That's so
awesome.
scary.
That's so
Yay.
fucking great.
I know.
Have you guys
Ah.
gotten your prostates checked yet?
No, I'm too young.
No?
I'm just a baby.
Just a baby.
I'm sure Ronnie checks it all the time.
He's checked it once or twice, yeah.
Yeah, would you know?
I think Nathan's
Like-
getting it like almost old enough, right? You should probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Get it
I'm
checked.
definitely not scared to
we're
have
gonna
be
have
fingered
to-
in the ass by a
I
doctor.
think my
Not at all.
I can give you a pre-screen.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure my grandpa's had prostate cancer twice already.
Yeah.
So cancer is pretty rampant in my family too. But so far, knock on wood, knock on whatever, I feel like my family's beat it most of the time.
I had a cousin who died fairly young from colon cancer, and they didn't believe her. She went to the doctor and she said, I'm having
Oh my
issues. I'm having issues,
Mhm.
and it ended up killing her.
It's terrifying.
So if you're having issues, get checked out.
Okay,
Well,
Let's do a fun question because that was really depressing.
It was
Yes.
Let's
depressing.
try another one.
All right.
Who comes up with these, Ronnie? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I read what I am sent.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
How do you mentally prepare for a big competition? And then what is your pre-comp ritual or routine?
Wait, say that again. I was listening to your husband.
How do you mentally prepare for a big competition? And then what is your pre-comp ritual or routine?
Okay.
Freak
have
out
one.
for several hours.
Yeah. Freak out.
It depends on what.
Well,
I'm
so like
competing with.
how pre-competition are we talking about? Are we talking about like morning of?
Whatever you guys
Floats
want to
your
say. Yep.
I mean, I think the only thing I could think of, right, for me and Nathan in particular is I will say I prep the dogs. If we're talking about rituals, right? Almost always I prep the dogs and then we go over the dog together and I talk Nathan through any of his recent critiques or areas that he struggles on to try to remind him to focus on those things or not forget or not mess them up. And then I always give him one big kiss before I leave and tell him good luck. And then I leave the ring right before they are about to start. So I always stay with him and I go over things over and over and over. I will go like, don't forget this. Don't forget this. And I'll keep like brushing through his dogs. And I just do it over and over again. Don't forget this judge has told you this. Don't forget.
I think
Do this thing. You always mess up this area. Don't forget to clean this up. Don't forget that.
for me, it's like in my head. I'm in my head the whole like morning, and I'm just thinking like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna do good. I'm gonna do this, and then Katie like helps get me out of my head a little bit. And then when I'm on the table about to compete, I'm just constantly brushing the dog, brush, comb until it's start time, just to like calm myself and the dog, you know.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I mean, our mornings are usually the same. I wake up, poop.
Yeah.
Right
I
now,
was like,
very
this one
regular.
takes, like,
Very regular.
Yeah, in the hotel room, he's like in the bathroom, and then he.
Although you're
does the
usually
thing.
up before everybody else pooping.
Yeah, because I try to get up because he takes forever in the bathroom.
Mm.
He poops and then he wants to shower and then he
all
wants to
in one
do his
window.
hair and then he has a blow dryer and hairspray it. So
Yeah.
I get up and go to the bathroom and then start walking dogs.
Mm-hmm. That's true. If we're talking about like full, yeah. Because then I'll usually just pop out of bed when Kat is ready to start pottying dogs and grab a dog or two while Nathan hops in the shower and like does his morning routine. And then we potty dogs and then I start prepping.
Yeah.
They spoiled me.
I know. He's
Sometimes I even run down, like I've had to run down and check him in and like put his stuff down there and I'll be like in my pajamas, no bra, haven't brushed my teeth or my hair, just like whatever, bro.
we're his bucket bitches. Even
Well,
though
because
we're-
I just can't handle like things like too much is happening, and I'm like too much pressure. I just like totally get
So-
frazzled.
my morning routine is freaking out.
Same.
Making sure I get up early enough and walk the dogs and responsibility and times and this and feed the dogs and do this and whatever I
Yeah.
need to do.
I think mentally, like while I'm showering, while I'm getting ready myself, I was like, I'm gonna fucking kick ass. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna do so good, and I have to like psych myself up. But then once I get to the ring and like we're like combing, and just like, okay, whatever happens, happens. Everything.
Breathe.
I'm not gonna become like if I don't know it now, I'm not gonna know it in the next 10 minutes. I'm not gonna freak out. If I know what I know, and I'm gonna do it. So as long as I have fun. And I'm proud of myself. That's it. It's crazy how like as soon as I get into the ring, I'm like, I'm just gonna have fun.
You're
It's
petty.
gonna be great.
Yeah.
I think how many people do that? I do that all the time. I'm just doing it for fun. I'm doing it for experience. I'm doing it for fun. This is fun.
But if you take that,
I'm having a
pressure-
great time.
If you take the pressure off yourself, though, if it's all about like I'm gonna win. If I don't win, then you are gonna be disappointed. But if you're mentally saying I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna do a really good job, and I'm gonna be proud of myself regardless, then when you're in the groom, because it's like, well, I'm just doing what I do, you know. So it just kind of and whatever
another
happens,
day.
happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
That's my little ritual. That's it.
for when I'm, grooming shows, like the whole early morning, I'm freaking out about, getting everyone walked and getting this and being down there in time and washing in enough time. So I'm just freaking out. But once I get on the tables, I'm combing. Everyone just
I
comb.
definitely think we're more similar because that's, like when I am competing, I'm like, we got to get down there right at check-in.
Well, I was like,
and
he's still fucking asleep. Get out of bed, Nathan.
yeah,
I
and
do
I'm-
not like getting there at check-in because like you
Yeah,
just
and then you're
stand
just
there for
standing
an
there.
hour. Nah.
freaking
No,
out.
I
see-
like
you
to
know
be
who I
there on
seen-
the tables.
It relaxes me.
I seen Lindsay coming in. She comes in like fucking right at check-in. Still has to bathe
No,
her dog.
you mean like right at almost at the end of check-in.
Yeah, she just shows up and starts bathing her dog like at like a couple minutes before, and then gets it all done and is there at the table. Like way more chill.
So she seems so relaxed. So like, nah. This
Yeah,
is
like, it's
great.
not a big deal.
Not a
I'm
big
just
deal,
like
yeah.
I've been up for 3 hours already. Like what?
So yeah, I'm more, and then I'm nearsighted. So like I can technically groom without my glasses. I just can't see far away. So when I was first competing, I would always take my glasses off so I couldn't see the crowd. I could only see the dog in front of me.
Nice.
And so now now that doesn't bother me as much because I feel a lot more comfortable in the industry and like I like seeing people and talking to them and chit-chatting. But before that was like, so I could just focus, just me and the dog, and I didn't have to look at anybody because I couldn't see them really.
Yeah. They're
But
blobs.
I usually am like, I usually tell myself like, I'm not gonna win. I'm not, which I know
I
is
do that all
probably
the
pretty
time.
bad
That's
because
the
I know
opposite
they
of what you
say
should do.
like you need to manifest it, but I'm usually like, oh, there's this many people here. I'm not gonna get anything, so that I'll be pleasantly surprised if I do. But
So-
I know
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the healthiest.
Different
but-
strokes, different folks.
So also in the grooming competition ring, I always look at a picture of my favorite groom right before
yeah.
before we start. I was like, because I'm
Just
very
tattoo
envisioning
them
it.
on your body.
I know. I know. This arm is still
Yeah.
available. But I do prepare differently for dog shows
Yeah.
because I definitely want to have enough time. And but it's funny at dog shows, I tell Lumi he can win. You know, me at grooming shows, I'm like, I'm just gonna lose. I'm just here to do my best and learn, right? But at the dog shows, I'm like, Lumi, you're a winner. You're gonna get best of breed today, and an owner handler group 1 and a regular group 2. I don't know why it's a regular.
And it
group
works.
2. And it,
And it
yeah,
works.
I pep talk him.
Yeah.
And then before I always go in the ring, I always shove like 500 mints in my mouth because they say that it helps the dog not smell your stress.
Oh.
But I don't know if it works. I heard that's a wise tale too. Like, who
Hey,
knows?
I
I
mean,
mean,
you
it doesn't
win a
hurt.
lot,
Have
so
minty fresh breath.
yeah, it's not gonna be bad, I guess, if the judge.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I walk through like my blocking in first. Let's okay, I'm gonna do this first, and then this, and this, and this, and kind of like walk myself through the groom.
Yeah.
I always forget as soon as the time starts. What the fuck am I doing?
So
Why am
like
I
I mean I usually always just do the Scotty. So like I know I'm listening for the calls because I'm like, okay, I get all my stripping done in the first half an hour. The second half an hour I do my furnishing work. And then the third half an hour I do my face, and the last half an hour I go back over everything again a second time. So I'm listening the whole time.
that sounds so smart.
Thank you.
Okay, so when you said that when I did the Scotty, it totally worked for the Scotty. But I think because Bashan,
Not every breed is the
yeah,
same.
that
Bashan
again?
just y'all scissor.
I zoned out a little. I'm so sorry.
No,
That's like, oh,
You
why
said like the first half
and
hour.
stripping.
The first half an hour I hand strip like my jacket and my head, and then the second half an hour I do my furnishings. So I strip my furnishings and do like any of my scissor work, and then my third half an hour I do the whole face because to me the face is just so important. It's like such an important piece. And then the last half an hour I go over everything again.
Okay.
So it works really well when you have a dog, either like a sporting dog or a wire dog. Doesn't work well for hand scissor dogs because I'm like, my goal when I'm hand scissoring is to try to make as many times around as I can.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
you can still do
Well,
it,
I mean,
like-
but then you could like set in your dog in the first half an hour.
So that's my
and
goal.
then
Just set it in the first half an hour to go
this-
over it.
Yeah, and then the second half an hour you refine it.
No,
and
me with my poodle, I'm like, I try to keep my clipper work in under 20 minutes, but I have a hard time. Like,
Well, yeah, like I only really do the Bashan, so the clipper work is pretty much done by the time because they
on
only
the
get the
Continental,
sanitary.
it's like a big.
Yeah. They only get the sanitary and the pads, and that's done beforehand and around the eyes. But
So, do you guys want me to kind of read some of the post, or do you want to summarize it, or?
You should read the post. I just read it.
Okay, so the post read, okay, let's have an adult conversation. What the heck is going on with our grooming industry? It seems to be in a sad state of affairs. I've been involved in just about all aspects of it for over 30 years. I love my industry, but what is going on? How do we fix it?
Yeah.
So this post, the last time I checked, was at least 300 comments.
when I looked 5
Yeah.
days ago, it was
Oh.
at 391 and 8 shares.
that's a pretty big
That's nice.
Yeah, a lot of
number.
especially for something like that.
Yeah.
And I feel that the majority of the comments were like overwhelmingly negative, which I understand that like we always want to like make things better, but I just don't know if that's like the right way of fixing the problem.
Well, there's always so much negativity surrounding Facebook and all this. You know, it's like
What?
it's just an easy platform for people to be annoyed with and to be like
Vent.
and but I feel like there's so much of it. We need more positivity.
Oh,
Well,
for
I
sure.
just like obviously there are things that need to be fixed. Like I'm not going to say like, oh, the grooming industry is perfect or anything like that. But I also think that like alienating certain factions of the grooming industry isn't lending us any favors or helping to fix those problems.
Yes. Exactly. It's, I feel a lot of it is this thing that happens in society as in general, and it happens in politics. It happens with music. It happens with the older generation looks at the younger people coming in, and this isn't all of what happened, but this is like what I see a lot in everyday things is the older generation goes, well, the way I did it was the right way, and the way you're doing it is not as good. Mm-hmm. And that happens in every aspect of life, right? Oh, this new music sucks. My music was the best. And it happens over and over again, and I really try to just break that cycle. And I kind of feel like that's what a lot of the hate was in there. Or not hate, a lot of the negativity could be summed up to people not liking the way the younger generation is doing things.
I feel like a huge part of it is social media, right? Which I
think
find
that's
interesting because we're on social media to make the post and get all the comments. But I think because the younger generation is like more, yes, take that away from him. I do feel like the younger generation is more social media, like affluent. They're better at like, posting regularly and like they know how to make videos and edit.
Well, they've grown up with cameras in their hands.
They grew up with that where like we had to like learn it, like we did not start with internet when we were babies, or social media or, so I do think I understand that it's hard, right? Like Nathan had to learn so much stuff to get to where he, I wish we had like capitalized on COVID and like, cause we didn't start until after, and like, there's all these things, right? And like, we're still learning like how things work. And, let me finish my thought before I like brain farted out. But like social media is not leaving. It's not going to go anywhere. So like being like, well, social media is the downfall. Like then we need to do better.
Yeah.
Then we need to, if we are unhappy with like the influencers that are out there putting out potentially wrong information, then we need to be putting out better information because social media is not going anywhere. And so like the only thing we can do then is to combat it with better, because we can't stop people from posting the videos they want. We have freedom.
I would say like as an expert you should be commenting on those things with what you believe is right? If I see someone teaching something that I firmly believe is wrong, either I'll private message them, or leave a comment. It doesn't have to be rude, but
it can just be educational or like
that's confronting it head on, right? Yeah. Like confront it head on.
Social media is so cool, right? Because it like gives everyone a platform and gives everyone a voice to share what they know or what they think. But the other side of that is it gives everyone a chance to say what they want to say.
And I get it.
A lot of everyone has a right to, right? Freedom of speech. But a lot of the information shared is incorrect.
Yeah. Right. And
I agree with that part of the whole conversation.
No, and I agree too, right? Because then it is hard for more newbie groomers to understand and weed out the bad information amongst the good information. But then that's where you have somebody like Nathan, who's an AKC master groomer and NDGWA, and he competes and he does all of it. So then when people see his stuff, they can know more that like, obviously he's still learning and he's not perfect either, but they like have this like all this stuff to back himself up on top of that.
I think a lot of people, just because someone's making content and it's bad and it's like they're teaching wrong stuff, doesn't mean that people that are watching it are like, oh, they're right.
Yeah.
A lot of people, everyone I speak to about some negative stuff, they all have the same opinion where they're like, yeah, that's just fucking stupid. But like, what are you gonna do? Right?
It kind of goes both ways, right? Like let's take somebody that is sharing bad information, right? The fact that they're sharing the information, that sucks. But if somebody else is watching that person and that person is inspiring that other person to want to further their education, or like they're actively watching them because they want to learn. So whether the information is bad or not, the act of inspiring someone is real, right? Yeah. And maybe once that person is watching that enough, then they can be like, well, that doesn't seem that right anymore. And they can continue, it's just.
But they have that passion.
Well,
and that's where it starts. That's where the seed starts.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also think if you look at it as a whole, right, you back up and look at this, like the whole post and the comment is like, It basically comes down to the way things are now aren't as good as they were before. Okay, so you go back 10 years, the grooming industry was smaller. Less people knew about the competition world. So if you were a winning groomer, even less. I mean, right now, I'm pretty winning, but like the competition world is such a small fraction of the grooming industry.
Yeah.
So you go back, it's even smaller. You go back another 10 years, it's even tinier. So like, yes, these people were like winning and doing all this, but they still didn't impact only people that were finding them and searching them out. So like, it just doesn't seem like the educators back, say 20 years ago, I'd say most educators were just people with apprentices, right?
Yeah.
I would also
How many of them were doing like, don't know what they're doing? They're just teaching their apprentice in some little shop. That's the way most education in America still happens, right? So like, I think the social media groomers and stuff like I reach thousands of people, but I still think it's a small fraction in comparison to the people that are learning from just their personal mentor.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't control what they're teaching, and you're not like...
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out, too, because you commented on this post in particular, and I know one of the responses you got was like, well, you haven't been around long enough. And I do want to point out that the four of us have been in the grooming industry for 17 years. So it is not quite as long as 30 years, but it is quite a long time. We're not newbies.
Yeah.
Well, and we've grown so much from when our beginning of our careers 20 years ago.
Yeah, Kat longer. I apologize.
It's okay.
So sorry.
Don't shave those 3 years off.
Yeah.
But, you know, also, when we first started...
She wasn't done.
Go ahead.
Let her make her point.
But when we started, social media was just starting, like MySpace,
even.
barely, and it wasn't the same. And we learned just from our little shop at PetSmart, right?
And how many wrong things
And how many wrong
did
things
we learn?
do we from they were a corporation. They had access to everything.
Yeah.
And all that, but we learned wrong still, right?
And we didn't know any of these big name people.
No, we
because-
didn't know there was competitive grooming back
Or
then.
we didn't
The
know
only
like,
names we knew were on Groomer Has It.
Yeah,
That was
Jonathan
it.
Davis.
Those were
Jonathan Davis.
oh yeah,
Dogs 101,
but
that was my
exactly.
shit.
Those were the heroes back then, right? Like what
But it
artists
was
or
only
whatever.
one season, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And then like never again.
Well, and then how many people of those other than Jonathan? I don't recall any.
There's a couple. There's a couple here and there.
I just don't remember any.
No,
of them.
I know.
But-
I literally haven't watched it since like what 2007,
Side
2008.
quest. Can I side quest real quick?
Yes, of course.
I don't know if he listens, but oh yeah, he does, Jonathan. But
Yeah.
he was the only person, because like I said, I only got in the grooming industry because of my content, and his education and everything. But when I met Jonathan, I was so starstruck because I watched him on Dogs 101 like
Yeah.
all the time with like a Frenchie.
He
And
was
this when I
expert.
saw him, I was like, oh my god, that's
It's a
him.
TV
That's the guy
star.
from Animal
I
Planet.
hope I could have.
freaked out, and that was the only person. So
He's
but anyways,
awesome.
Yeah.
I hope I could have a portion of amount of impact
It
as
was
he
so
has.
cool.
But it's just evolved so much in that short period of time. I mean, it doesn't seem like a short period of time, but it in the big spectrum it is, right?
Well, I think that there's a lot of things, right? Because like safety standards have changed significantly. I mean, how many of us have heard the stories about the little shops and they would drink Diet Coke and smoke while they were grooming?
Yeah.
And
So
I've heard that story a
that
million
is-
times, literally smoking cigarettes while they were grooming dogs.
And so that's my opinion. That is my general thought of the average grooming salon 17 years ago was everybody dropped their dog off at one time.
yeah, drop
You
them off in the
groomed them
morning.
as you wanted. The place was a mess. And I've seen several salons like that. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but that's my idea of what it was. And I think that's part of the thing is like you get these ideas of back then it was this and now it's this. You came up with these like
These ideas in your head.
and I think it's not fair, you know?
Right.
Well, and things are changed.
Yeah.
We have social media. There's nothing we can do about it. And we can't stop people from posting false information. So the only way to fight that is to, if you have an issue with that, is you yourself get out there and post that information as a professional and as a like master of your trade so that they have the right information to go to.
Or take the steps to educate those people. If you don't want to be all in public, do what you said earlier. DM them, tell them,
Yeah.
Not everybody
I don't
wants to listen either,
And-
right? But then that's then you can educate
But people,
your students as to like,
yes, people are also responsible for what they watch and what they take away.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not our fault if they choose to find this person on social media and only follow them, right?
Yeah.
They have the responsibility as
Mm-hmm.
a viewer to educate themselves and to take it.
and look at the credentials of whoever it is that they're
Yeah.
watching.
And oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when we first started this podcast, the first few episodes were us kind of listing our credentials because we
Right.
wanted to be like, hey, everybody, we've been doing this for a long time. We've accomplished this, this, and this. We've been through this, this, and this. And we've been doing this for so long that now this is what we are sharing with you. So, like,
And take that with a grain of salt, however you may. Like, these are our lists. Yeah, this is who we are. We're not just,
These are just your experiences.
these are our experience. We're never like,
And
this is a hard
opinions.
and fast rule. We're always like open to learning new things and
No.
like growing and changing our opinions. And
So normally I do not interact with stuff like that online, but this particular post really bothered me. And I'm not the author of the post. I super respect them, and I don't think they're wrong, and I don't think they're right either. But they obviously have their opinion. But it just is fundamentally wrong to me to be like cast such a wide net. Like, I've never thought it's a good idea to like just these things are bad. Like if you look in history, right, the last 100 years. It's steadily less people dying in war, less people in poverty, less crime all throughout the world. But if you ask everybody, do you think it's getting better? Everybody always says, on average, that the world is getting worse.
because we
But-
get the information right away.
But the facts are, it's constantly getting better. And just this, like, everybody wants to feel like when I was at my peak, it was the best. So it just everyone needs to realize like everything is constantly getting better, and people get in this like, oh, it's not as good, it's more dangerous. It's not. The world is always getting better.
The information is just at your fingertips.
It's more because I remember one of the comments I saw said like, like dog deaths and this and this and this, and I thought
We
to
just hear
myself
about
like,
it more.
there was always, unfortunately, there's always going to be incidences, and unfortunately there's going to be groomers because we're not a regulated industry. And even if we were regulated, there would probably still be incidences here and there, but we didn't get to hear about them. If a dog died across the country, we wouldn't hear about it over here 40 years ago. Same as like if a kid was kidnapped in a small town somewhere else, we probably would have never heard about it over here 40 years ago. But now if a dog dies and an owner is upset about it and they post about it, you get to hear about it right away. Instantly. And because it's being shared and it's, like, so it's just a different climate. I don't necessarily think that there's more like bad things happening in our industry. I just think that we know about them now.
Yeah, definitely.
And it spreads like wildfire.
I made so I commented on this post.
Why don't you read his comment?
Yeah,
His is
and
the first one. He could read it word for word.
I actually think this is from Nathan. I actually think the industry is in a great place. Groomers are more educated than ever. Education is easier to access than before. And I believe as a whole, the industry cares about doing the best for the animals than ever. I'm more proud to call myself a groomer than before. Smiley face heart. Everyone that reads this know that I see your love and hard work. Very nice.
Well, because
we travel around now the country, and I see everybody wanting to learn. They're hungry. I see all these new salons. Think of the new aesthetic of grooming salons. They're
Cleaner.
clean,
Beautiful.
Bright.
beautifully decorated. They want to elevate the grooming salon world, right? And like, I just feel that throughout the industry that it's being elevated, and that's what I feel is like.
Yeah.
I can't see that and not think we're in a bad place. Like, I think we're in a good. It could be better.
Yeah.
Everything could be
everything
better.
could always be
But
better.
I think we're
perfect.
on this upward trend. Like, taking back 16 years, I was literally embarrassed sometimes to tell people I was a dog groomer. Literally embarrassed to tell some of my family members, oh, I groom dogs. How am I going to explain to my cousins that I
scrub
groom
dog
dogs?
butts.
Now I'm proud to call myself a groomer. I tell somebody I'm a dog groomer, and they go, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I like to
You know,
throw in, I'm
my
a certified
career-
master.
Yeah,
Well,
my
yeah.
career is not treated, but also I tell people, my career is not treated like a college after school.
Yeah,
or
like,
a
oh,
high
well, what
school
are you going to
after-school
do
program.
after
I got that all the
grooming?
time when I first
So
started.
what are you really going to do? When are you going to do something else?
Yeah. What are you going to do later? Yeah, what are you going to do when you grow up?
And I think a lot of times too, people, when I say that, I'm not saying before it was in a bad place,
No.
but I just think we're always improving. The industry, I firmly believe, is in a better place now.
Well, and there's a
Then
lot
the average groomer, I feel like, cares about learning more. And
Well, and I know more educators that are traveling to teach now more than ever.
Yeah.
You know, like then, and they're able to like advertise and sell tickets for other people from other salons. And so like so many more people are getting access to like private lessons that they weren't able to access before. You know, because before it was like if you did find a mentor, you had to go to them and like, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that people shouldn't work hard to get that mentorship because it is hard work to work under a mentor and learn stuff. But we're all also really busy. We have kids, we have lives, we have, you know, not everybody is able to travel, you know, maybe take a flight and travel with their mentor
Or the finances.
or the finances. Unfortunately, with the way that the world is today, or at least in America, right? Most homes need a 2-person income. Most homes can't just like always afford you to like go and travel and do all these things, especially if you have kids or whatever else. Buying a home is so difficult. Like the climate is just different today than it was before, and it just is what it is, right? So I think to like expect that we can do it the same way that it was always done is unrealistic. Same as like college is how much more expensive than it used to be.
So-
Homes are so much more expensive than they used to be, but our incomes haven't like adjusted to
Groceries,
So
gas, everything.
when you, like Juan, when you read that message, do you think it's targeted at a specific part of the grooming industry, or do you think it's a grooming industry comment as a whole? Because I took it like as a whole.
The original post?
Yeah.
I feel like even though they didn't specifically say it was like a social media thing, I thought it was targeting the social media thing.
Yeah.
Like
you
just
know,
it's just the vibe.
I've had
and I felt the younger
several-
And
generation
even
too.
I think the comments definitely took it there.
Yeah.
I've had several people reach out to me and go like, "Oh, but not you." But like, it's hard not to take offense to that, you know.
Well, you put your heart and your soul into
Yeah.
it. And I know a lot of other people do put their heart and souls into their social media stuff, and they're, you know, like wanting to grow and be educated and do a good job.
Yeah, so it's hard. It's just hard to not take stuff like that personally, you know.
I did also feel like it was somewhat pointed at the younger generation, you know, because I felt like there was quite a few comments of like people are just lazy now and people don't want to put in the work now. And I mean,
But the comments went on and on and
there
on.
are like that. I feel like in general, there's people that are lazy everywhere,
Was there any
no matter
comments
what
that
the
stuck
age.
out at you as like,
Well, and I just think like, number one, we have a lot of young people that work for us, and I don't think that they don't work hard. You know what I mean? Like
We've had more success with our younger employees than our older employees.
But I think like if we are trying to say like, hey, newer groomers, we want you to like be educated properly, which is fine, right? Like, hey, we want you to get the best education. So like, here's the place to get it or whatever. But then being like, what's wrong with the grooming industry today? It's so fucked up. And like 30 years ago, it was so much better. They're not going to be like, you know what? You were right.
Yeah.
Let's go back 30. You know what I mean? They're just going to be like, I'll learn from somebody else.
yeah. We've asked both of our apprentices like how this made them feel, and they both were like, it made them feel a way about the author and the people that were being negative because they don't know them, they don't know their experience, and they just felt like it was attack on them and their generation, right? So I don't know. It's super tough.
Well, like I said, we get it, right? Like we do agree. There is
This is a response to one of your things that I think kind of I want to touch on the next one. Nathan,
this is a response to what?
to
to
you.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your reply is very positive and uplifting, but I'm sorry to say that is not very realistic. There is a lot of education out there that is easy to access, but a lot of the time, the quality of the education is not good. There are big egos that educate wrong, and they couldn't care less about what they're doing and the damage they are causing to groomers that are learning from them, as long as they make the money and maintain the popularity. I mean, there are, like we said earlier, there are a lot of educators out there that really have no business educating people.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, without naming people, we can all kind of think of a few
Yeah.
Oh, for
that
sure.
we see not interested
But
or
you know-
scroll past or whatever.
I also see the content, and it like way I don't agree with it. It isn't gonna harm a dog.
I would like to also clarify, just as a response to this, I only know of like 2 groomers who actually make money off of content, like
Yeah.
money. Like
Money.
most people that are influencers,
I
quote
don't-
unquote, don't make money, so they're not doing it to make money.
They spend money.
I get
because
millions of views, and
we make
I-
zero money.
I haven't made a dollar.
We
So
make-
like people think like
we make negative money making all of the stuff that we
Yeah.
make. Like, and so, yeah, like Nathan said, right? Like he can get millions of views and get nothing. I only know of 2 people.
So I think
that
there is
actually
that
makes
like
money.
expectation that people think that the influencers are like
Making
getting rich,
money.
but
No.
like no.
We do not.
I mean, maybe there is like
If
I know
you're-
Gabriel makes good money, but
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
his-
one of
Gabriel
them,
and
yeah.
Logan
But
are
a lot
like
of
the
it is-
only 2.
a lot of it is pet parents that are like a lot of their views. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime you put something out and it's negative, you're only putting negative light on yourself. That's one of my main rules on social media is like I'm not going to say anything negative because it's just going to make me look like a douche to somebody. You know, so
Yeah.
like if I'm putting something out, it's either going to be to build upon something positively or
Yeah.
I mean, I may disagree with something a little bit, but like as nicely as I can, you know, because it just doesn't
There's-
pay out. It doesn't pay
Yeah.
off.
I don't think there's a point to being negative all the time, you know?
Well, and then there was one comment that in response to Nathan's that I did like, because I agreed with a lot of what was said, because they said like, hey, well,
You should just find it.
no, it's right here. They said like, while I agree with the comment you had just read, you know, they said, I don't think that this is new. It's just different because we're all more connected than ever, which is what we kind of all touched on, right? Before, there was still a huge percentage of the grooming population that was undereducated, unsafe, and producing poor grooms. We just didn't see them because they were hidden away in salons and vet clinics across the country. And people who looked up to the top groomers were a much smaller number of people because most of the groomers out there had never been to a trade show, dog show, or competition and had no idea those people even existed. Now we have a lot more people going to trade shows, dog shows, and competitions and using social media, so we're a lot more connected. And yes, that means there are a lot of groomers putting out incorrect or dangerous content, but there's also more groomers that are actually getting quality content and education as well. So the landscape has completely changed. I think overall it's going in a better direction now, that more groomers are actually seeking out education to begin with, even though there's obviously cons and pitfalls that go with that as well. No industry is perfect, and newer groomers are always going to struggle learning who to listen to and who not to, and that's just part of starting any new career, even regulated ones.
Totally.
So
that's where-
I was like that.
Go
Yeah.
you.
So like the
Yeah.
episode's over. She did it.
Yeah.
That person did it. They touched on all of. I think that was so.
Heather Hudson.
Heather Hudson. That was right. That's exact. That just summed up the whole freaking episode
Yeah.
of my thought.
Thank you so
of
much.
my-
Good night.
Yeah. I also think like if you are unhappy with it, I think you said this already. Then like put
Do it
yourself out
better,
there.
yeah.
Put yourself out there. Make correct content. Then. Right?
And I mean, there are a lot of great educational sources as well, right? Because like now we have Groom House just to like, you know, if you're wondering how to do, you know, a breed cut properly and you're wondering what influencer is right or wrong, right? Like, all of those are like, all of the videos on Groom House are screened by Pina, who is like one of the top groomers in our industry. So even though she's not teaching in every single one of them, she still goes over them to make sure the information is accurate.
Yeah. Super stylings as well.
Yeah,
But
there's
the people
super
who
stylings.
teach in
and-
Groom House as well are also top
They're all
notch.
certified master
Oh,
groomers.
thanks.
They're all top notch.
Oh, thanks. No,
Well, besides you two. But just kidding.
Well, I mean, Tone
love
does
you.
a very good
No,
job.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
at
He does
a
getting. He
beautiful
wants to
job.
only work with master groomers, right? Everyone
Yeah.
that teaches is a master groomer.
You can
The
trust the information. Sorry.
The shots are beautiful. Everything's
Right.
well lit. You could see the different angles. Like he's taking education to a different level. It didn't exist 20 years
Yeah.
ago. Like
Right.
this is only helping.
And I also think like, well, okay, so that the post was so broad, but then also like, how could the outcome possibly be improvement of the industry of that.
Well,
like the post, like
yeah, it was just
meant
like
to
a
be,
negative
felt like
vortex.
it brought people down.
Yeah,
It was just a negative vortex and not an actual
like if we were to sit
back and forth discussion to figure out how to actually
like the four
do
of us.
anything.
I think we're all in consensus that we think the industry is in a better place. Do you think?
I think
Then
so.
when we started grooming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
It could be better.
Not that it wasn't bad then, but I think we're on the up. But if the problem was diagnosed as social media, like how would you guys think of a
I
group
think-
of people freaking making it better? Like, what is the act?
Yeah.
I'm losing my words because
Well,
I
like,
can't even
take
put it in
action?
the thoughts. Like, how can you
Yeah.
actually make
Yeah.
it better? Like, you can't put licensing on social media influencers teaching. You can't
Well, exactly.
You
They can
can't
post
stop-
whatever
you
they
can't
want.
stop people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only option is to counter bad information with.
Good information.
Good information.
Yeah, I think people need to take it upon themselves to kind of figure out who to listen to, obviously, and kind of learn
Well,
how
there's
to
that
screen.
too. Yeah, take responsibility. I mean, I feel like we've had episodes like that before. We always just say like, do your research, and that's the same goes for this. Do
For
your
everything.
research. Don't just like blindly listen. Yes, sir.
Oh, hello. I have a question. So, from the outside looking in, from I'm around you guys, but I can't tell.
Oh, yeah.
What
Go off.
underline
Let's
is
see.
or
Go off,
anything.
king.
Go off,
But
King.
like, how do you
Queen, whatever.
Yes, honey. But how do you that's the thing for me. It's like because you guys keep on saying the correct information. How do you know if they have it? There's no you can be a master
That's
groomer,
true.
but there's no I don't know. There's no standards
There's no-
across the board.
there's like
it's
Nathan
always
said earlier,
everything
yeah.
I hear from, like I said, from me just sitting there hearing judges talk, hearing this. I hear people talk all the time. You
Yeah.
know, I'm a little fly on the wall and shit, and then just people everyone is. It's so opinionated. It's so this. So it's like, how are you gonna know? It's like this is right. That's why I appreciate Groom House, because it's like those are fucking best in show winners. Those are groom team. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's like those are good videos. Like you can
Right.
trust what's coming out of there because they're putting in the work and you see it. But it's like it's so hard online that it's like how it's like there's no official thing because everyone's gonna have an opinion. That skirt's too high. This level's to this. This chest is fucked up.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's just how do you when are we gonna get to a point where we know that is correct? Like it really sucks.
I don't think there's a right or
I
a
don't think
wrong.
there
I don't
really
think there
is.
is a
you know what I
correct
mean?
or wrong.
For
Yeah.
me, from looking in, it's like how would somebody find that information to be like, oh, that is good. That is
No, I get what
instead
you're
of-
I
saying
think-
though, because
I don't
there
know how to really
are
articulate it. Kind
because
of.
Nathan
I know what
was,
you mean.
Nathan was saying earlier, right? Like, oh, there's multiple ways of getting something done, and then it can be hard because sometimes, the show, obviously, like we show dogs, right? So we'll see in the show industry, they'll be like, according to the breed standard, we do this, this, and this grooming wise because we're trying to show off these different things. And then sometimes something will be winning a lot in the competitions that's not quite to, like when you read the breed standard, you're like, that's not quite right. And then it gets popular and everybody starts doing it. And then, so then it's
But,
like, who's to know
yeah.
what's right and
And
wrong?
also, two people can read a breed standard
Well, that's true,
and
too.
do two slightly different things, and both of them can be right.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, oh, I'm right because I do it the best and the way I taught is the right way.
Sometimes.
You're reading a standard.
Sometimes it's a
You're
certain
reading a
way.
standard. The person you are learning from has read a standard and they learned it that way. And the person,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
open
But
to
As long as it
interpretation.
also
fits
about
the standard.
executing it. You could know the standard, but if you don't execute it
Yeah.
correctly, then that's it just sucks. I
Yeah.
hate that people would have to start off with new groomers. Already, like you said, you guys wish that you would have known all this stuff back then.
Oh, yeah.
And getting that back then, so why? I don't want anyone to be hindered now who wants to be a
Right,
groomer.
yeah.
Get into it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Don't learn. It's like, I learned like this, and then go into a thing talking, and then everyone looks at you like you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Because that's when we first started going to trade shows. I didn't want to say anything because someone's like this, and I'm like, I know nothing.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I'm not going to say
Pretend I know
anything.
anything.
the first
I
time
wash a dog. I sit here. Cool.
the first time
so
we started
scary.
teaching, I just
Yeah.
felt like an idiot the whole time.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's still you go and you're like, am I doing this right? Do I know how
Yeah,
to do
we're
it?
still
I
learning.
still,
I'm
all
yeah.
the time. And it's so open to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And you could take little tidbits from here and from here and here and formulate your own opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's still things. And if the dogs aren't getting hurt, it's not that big a deal.
It's not the end of the world.
Many of the things that they post it's not really that dangerous to do certain things to a dog or not do certain things. to get away, right? The dog's not going to suffer from certain things, you know?
For sure.
If you can give advice to a newer groomer, what would
go
you
ahead.
suggest that they do to make sure that they're getting the best information they can?
I think looking at people's credentials and looking into their education and their experience before I take what they say as fact.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Multiple factors.
Yeah. Also, like, just because someone's a master groomer doesn't mean that they know everything.
Nope.
Right? So,
Yep.
like, I know
Look at me.
of...
And me.
I know of master groomers who
I know everything.
Started grooming and became a certified master groomer all within a year to 2 years. No, you were grooming way longer before you started.
No,
like,
he means
like
like
you started
newbies.
you started grooming, you're grooming, and then you're a master groomer. You could be a master groomer because you've proven the skills to do certain techniques and that kind of thing, but you don't know everything there is to know.
No.
Right? Experience has a lot
Oh yeah,
to do with
and
it as well.
there's nobody that knows everything about
Right.
dogs. There's not a single person knows
About
everything they
anything.
need to know about dogs.
Oh, that was the comment that I wanted to pull up. I don't think it's in here. Someone says that they think the problem is the people that think they know everything. Yes, that is. If someone is saying, this is the only right way to do it and listen to me only, that's a huge red flag to me.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, we keep saying, like, we're always learning.
There's
like,
several different ways to skin a cat.
I like to say
Say
2 plus
different-
2 is 4, but 1 plus 3 is also 4.
yeah, there you go.
There you go.
We're not skinning no cats.
I don't know where I got that from, but it's
Also,
Something
I-
common
someone
saying.
barbaric.
It's
There
an
are-
old saying.
Yeah,
but-
there's several people who say, "Oh, don't go searching around for different answers." But I like learning from multiple people
yeah.
because you might learn something new, or you.
Well,
there's
sometimes
so-
the way somebody explains something doesn't click
click.
with you, and then somebody else says it differently, and you're like, oh, duh.
Get
It's
it.
so simple. It was in front of me the whole time, but it just needed that other way.
But that's so hard too, because I know people who took a lesson with one person, that, like, and they do it this way, and then you hear them take the lesson with the next person. They're like, "Oh, well, this needs to come in tighter, or you should have left this fuller, and this and this." But the other person groomed it to what they thought was the best. But then the next person they do it with is tighter, and so it's just so
Then you
It's
make
interpretation.
crazy.
Then
When
you
I-
make
A big one.
notes.
Yeah.
Then
A
you-
big one.
That's when you make notes and you do it how they want to.
A big one that I see a lot is using thinning shears on a jacket of a sporting dog. And, well, if you look at the English Cocker standard, the written standard, and it says, like, you shouldn't scissor, do not scissor the jacket.
Well,
right?
everything's supposed
But
to be- no,
if
it
you go
doesn't.
on the illustrated standard, it says do not.
Oh, and the illustrated
It says
standard.
do not do it. But if you go to any dog show anywhere, and there's an English Cocker about to go in the ring and it's getting prepped, and it has a flyaway on the jacket, and they can't get that thing to lay down, any freaking buddy is the breeder or the person, the
Handler.
professional handler is gonna take some thin shears and take that off, right? Because they want to win. So
Here in America.
you could, and you can do it in a way where it won't. It's not gonna ruin the jacket.
It's
right?
not like you're scissoring the
But it
entire
may get you that
jacket.
win that day, right? You're not scissoring the whole jacket, but just a little bit here, that little fuzz, take that off if it's not coming out with the stone, or you can't, like, I don't like that hard and fast, you can't do this, because
Well, yeah,
you're
'cause
not
that's-
harming the dog by doing these little things, and you're also not, like, breaking the integrity of the coat by, like, if you're scissoring the whole freaking thing is one thing, but if you're like, a little bit here, a little bit there,
Go to any dog show and watch the breeders prep their dogs. They're doing a lot of things that we get told not to do.
yeah.
Well, there's so many things. Yeah.
But that's a big one where you get some, like, even big competitors that were like, I will not touch the jacket with a thinning shears. But then you look at, like, other groomers that are winning a ton with these dogs, and they will trim off a little here and a little there.
Just a little, yeah.
Well, just
You know?
like
Just a touch.
the show world, you want to blend in with the handlers, so you
Yeah.
do the things the handlers do.
Yeah.
But then I think some people
That
get
aren't-
so stuck on it is wrong, but, like,
Reading things like this make me really sad because I do see that there is a divide with, like, the younger generation versus the older generation. And I think some of the comments in here that say, oh, it's not about that. It's not about the old versus new. but it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
And it's sad.
And it's not like we learned from all the OGs too. I mean, when we learned, it wasn't from influencers. It was from all the older generation people.
Right.
They have so much to teach and so much to like show us,
Offer.
right? They have
Yeah.
so much knowledge.
They do.
And a lot of the conversation that this generation has is like, oh, well, in order to do this, I can't sell any classes because all these influencers are doing this and I don't go online and I don't. That's the issue, right? Like if you want to, like we're complaining about all these new education people, all these new influencers, then you, like you said earlier,
Catch
go
up with the
make that
times.
content. Like if you, what's so hard? I mean, it is difficult to be in front of a camera. I get it, right? Like it's
Well,
is
it's hard.
scary.
It was
It's
hard for
hard,
us in the beginning. Yeah.
to stay relevant. Right?
But
Like,
if you keep saying like I don't want to do that because that's then you are choosing to stay behind.
Well,
you
yeah.
are choosing to stay back there and like distance yourself. I mean,
and that's
right?
like the
From
sad reality of it.
yeah.
But also, how many groomers are there, and how many groomers are joining our workforce on a regular basis, or are newbies, and how many of those people, right, are teaching? They can't reach everybody. They just can't. Realistically, they can't teach and mentor every single one of them. There's not enough. You know, like our industry is too big. So like even if we did, like everybody just stopped and deferred only to those people, like it still wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
Like we need to, you know, like, well, and that's something we've talked about, right? Because when we first started teaching, we felt we were like, we're not as good as our mentors. Like we're not as good. So how can we be teaching? Because like we're not as talented as our mentors. But we had to remind ourselves, right, that like everybody starts somewhere, right? So like we've been grooming for 16 years. I can definitely teach somebody how to properly bathe and prep their dogs. I can teach somebody how to do beautiful pet grooms. I mean, I think we can teach more than that, but you know what I mean? Like there's somebody who's trying to learn the basics doesn't necessarily want to go to the #1 groomer in the country because that's really intimidating. And, maybe when their skills are higher and they're looking to learn a higher caliber, then they seek out that person. But it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody like me and Nathan don't have anything to give.
Right.
Yeah. True.
Just as I think we have more to give than that, but you know what I'm saying? Like in the beginning, that was something I had to tell myself because I felt like I didn't deserve to teach.
But I think I think I've been thinking a lot during this conversation of like, well, the whole question was how can we fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best way to fix it is if anybody out there listening to this disagrees, they should give their opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If someone posts a bunk ass video about some dumb shit and then they get a bunch of comments from people that are well respected and know what they're talking about in the industry, they're going to be like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. Right? But if nobody says anything and stays quiet, they're just going to keep doing it. Right?
Yeah.
So like call shit for what it is. Right? I don't know. That maybe that's something that could help. I honestly, I don't know.
Do you think that like that's what this person was doing?
No, because I feel like it was too broad. I think like
That's
it was too
true,
broad.
yeah.
I feel like all the young people that I've spoken to felt like it pushed this person away from them.
Yeah.
They were like, well, this person seems like they don't like respect me, so why should I give them my
Time,
my
money.
time.
Yeah.
Now those are the few young people that I've spoke to, younger groomers. Other people might have taken it other ways, but you know.
So
Well, I think it's different. If you see a specific like post that you're like, that is wrong information and you're like calling it out, and different than when you're just like we said, there's like almost 400 comments of just like widely negative and nothing actually like helpful
To
came out
fix
of
the
it.
the whole
So it's just like a negative vortex.
yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, do you think it's somewhat jealousy, from the older
Yes,
generation?
It definitely is
Because if you look at classes that are like at the Barkleigh, right? Obviously, these are good teachers because Barkleigh is putting their foot forward and hiring these people, right? But do you notice that the classes that are more influencer based are usually more popular and bigger?
yeah,
And then the other ones who are the older generation, the old school, who aren't out there doing all this stuff, they're smaller and less,
People don't know who they are.
yeah, unfortunately, with the grooming industry, it has a very short memory.
you gotta stay relevant.
You have
You
to
have
stay
to
relevant.
and
yeah.
I think that is partially it. And I feel like they do deserve to have their like names out there, but like it's something that you can't like have won a bunch and then in the past and then expect that to be the landscape is different, right? Nobody owes you anything,
Resting on
right?
your
You have to
laurels,
keep
right?
getting out there. And I don't mean that in like a
that out.
mean way. Like I don't mean that in a mean way. Like you're not doing enough, but like you
Stay in the
have to stay
spotlight.
relevant, you know? Like I literally the last 4 days I've been up to 8 or 9 editing videos and pictures, and I'll get off of work and come home and I'll spend 3 hours selecting 4 pictures for a post that'll get 100 or something likes. And you know, like, but I'm doing the research and I'm putting correct information out there, but like that's how much work is going into it. And it's not I think I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying because it's like there's just a lot of like work that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I've been like scrolling to find like certain comments, right? And so like one comment said, "I'm afraid to invest the resources to bring in or train up any more groomers. It keeps not being worth it for me or my clients." And so like
sad.
I get it, right? Because like I can't say every person I've ever hired was like right for the job, but at the same time, like then when you get comments like that and then people are reading it, then they're like, people don't
bother?
want me. Why bother?
I just had like an epiphany on what can fix this whole fucking thing.
Oh my God, everyone
God.
listen. Nathan's going to fix
There.
it.
Right?
Nathan's going to fix it all.
Universal licensing. Right? If everyone had to get licensed to be
I
a
thought it was
groomer.
going to be a new idea.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't you
old
think like
epiphany.
I have that,
that
for
way,
future of the
if
industry.
somebody's teaching something stupid, you just say, "Oh, are they licensed?" No, they're not. So like,
Well, the thing is,
Maybe that won't fix- maybe that
I
won't,
don't
but
think
like-
it's gonna fix everything. I do think it would help.
I think licensing is 100%.
I'd be totally
I
down.
think that's because you would.
I think
weed
it would
out-
help a lot.
I know like 5 groomers right now. If it had to get licensed, they would stop. I
Mm-hmm.
100%
Yep.
know 5 groomers right now that would not. They would like, that's too much. I don't want to do it. This is
or
nope.
they would have to get educated on proper
And
things.
then maybe they would be more inspired and want to go to trade shows and those continued educations. Vets, everyone with animals has to do a continued education every year
Yeah.
for any of your
Checks
trades.
and-
Why is it not required for us? We're working with live animals. Like, if you work at a zoo, you have to sedate an animal to work with it. We don't.
I
Like, it's
completely
crazy.
agree. That's a whole nother can of worms,
Yeah.
though.
Next episode, but future of the industry is coming up. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I'm passionate about that.
Yeah.
You should be. I think everyone should love what they do, right? And that's the one thing I feel a lot in the grooming industry is a lot of love for their career and a lot of love for animals. And like, I just can't help
Well-
but defend, like, feel like that's so good.
I
you
think
know?
the care of animals is just different today than when we started too. I mean,
Yeah.
I think people loved their dogs when we started
They're
grooming
babies now.
16 years ago, or 17 years, 20. But we're, like, I think people loved their dogs, but they were still their dogs,
Yeah.
right? And now today, I do feel, number one, I think the dog population is a lot bigger than it was. People are having
less
dogs instead of children, and it's their babies. And so I do think to that effect, right? Like, because one of the comments was actually like, I think a big part of the issue, they said they thought a big part of the issue was because of pet parents.
Yeah.
Number one, a lot of the dogs are like not as trained. We're way more mixed breeds. I saw that comment a lot, way more mixed breeds than there ever was before. And then lastly, though, like anytime a dog makes any little noise or, like
Sensitivity.
then pet parents are getting like upset, right? And so I don't necessarily think that's like what's wrong with the industry, but I do think that has just like affected a lot of change in how we do things, because a lot of the people that are like quote unquote influencing or trying to influence or whatever, they're posting a lot of cutesy photos, right? So like, because that was a complaint I saw a lot, was that people were like, nobody knows how to do breed standards anymore. And like, if you were to look at some people's stuff, you might think that they don't know how to do any breed standard stuff, but they might know how to do it. But cutesy is what sells.
Yeah.
Most people
And
are coming
most
in
of the-
for cutesy.
Most of the pet parents don't care. They
Yeah.
don't want that. They don't want to let coat. They don't
I
want.
can't tell you how often we get terriers in the salon, and I'm so excited. Oh, it's a Schnauzer, or it's a Lakey, and I'm like, yeah. And then they
No
go,
harsh lines.
I don't like that harsh look. I don't want the
I don't want him to
pointy
look mean.
eyebrows. I don't want him to
look
look mean. And I'm like, why'd you get this?
You know what I would like?
Although they do make some really cute, like Asian fusion-y looks. But, you know, I love me a terrier. So I'm like,
We could have a whole episode on pet parents. I would go
Pet
off.
parents.
Pet parents. Pet parents. I would go off.
That's like,
Pet parents are my greatest passion.
You know
I
what
thought
I
it
would
sounded
love?
like Blue's Clues.
If the author and the other like big like names that were in this post, if they made more content, I would love that.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
love
I was
to see more
imagining like, well,
content.
how can it actually be fixed and like countering it with good content? And I think if they made content, I would love it.
I would share it.
I would share it, and I
Absolutely.
would love to see content from them. You know?
Show us what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I would share it big time.
Yeah, a lot of the big names in here work with Groomhouse, and like I share, just promote that. You don't even have to do extra.
Yeah.
Just say, look, I made this video with Groomhouse. Subscribe. You know.
Also leading into, actually in this post, one of the comments was actually a breeder who commented and said that they loaned their dog to a grooming competitor, and they said that the job was botched, and like they were so upset, and they're never going to loan their dog out again, and it was a show dog, and blah, blah, just totally trashing a groomer, you know, and like how undereducated our groomers are, and blah, blah, you know, and turns out it was actually Marcia. She told me, and she was like, I was like honest, right? Like she has experience with the breed, but not a ton of experience with the breed. And the dog's coat was completely blown. It was a hand strip breed. So she's competing with a totally blown coat. You can only do so much. It's a dog she's never worked on before personally. And she said the dog had double ear infections. And she said she even reached out and asked Pina for advice and followed her advice. So then, you know, this breeder's just dragging her, blocked her on social medias, and she said she never told her that she was going to be showing. She never, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, so then you get stuff like that, which feels very pet parenty, to be honest.
Yeah.
We all love our breeds, but she did eventually come back on, and as she did, like, you know, half-ass, like, apologize and was like, I didn't tell her that I was going to be showing the dog.
And she's going to be good for the
and
breed.
she's going to be so good for the breed.
But
So
that's after the drag.
after because then Marcia stood up for herself, which good for her. She should have. And so I don't know if somebody reached out to her like, hey, like,
yeah.
because like the breed in general is on the decline. And so like that, it's not a good look.
But like also, what does saying that in a Facebook post fix? Like, how does
Well,
that?
and she didn't
just
tell.
starts shit.
She didn't
It doesn't.
tell Marcia. She didn't even tell her. She she was under the impression that everything was fine, and so like that's
It's just
even
one
worse.
generation blaming another generation, you know? Same old, same
Yeah,
old.
well, I mean, people like Kat mentioned before, like everyone's really comfortable behind a screen and a keyboard, right? Everyone can. You say things that you wouldn't normally say. You complain about things you wouldn't tell. Like at every trade show, every single trade show, we have so much fun and everything's all fun. And then people go online when they get home and they complain about everything, or they point out this. Why didn't you address it there? Why didn't you tell the person there? Why didn't you
Well, like the blow dryer thing situation in the last one.
And then
Well,
it's
she
like,
put the room number. She could have went and talked to she could have went and knocked on the room number.
Put a
and-
note on the door
Yeah,
if you
but
don't want to be
it
confrontational.
they didn't complain, though. They only seen someone else
Oh, they only
complain.
heard somebody. Yeah, they only heard it
could
at
still
the front
put a note.
desk.
But, you know, in our demographic, everyone that comes up to me is newer groomers,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like it's super important for us
I mean,
to-
not always. I feel like you get a lot of seasoned groomers
Yeah,
too.
but most of them are
The bulk are
the
newer
bulk are newer
groomers.
groomers. So I want to say to you guys, right, that I think you're doing great.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid.
Keep your passion.
Educate
Yeah.
yourselves, and
Keep your passion, educate yourself. But I was gonna lead into, right, so like you have a breeder of a dog breed that's like, hurting in numbers, which a lot of dog breeds are hurting in numbers these days, and it's tough then when the breeders get like that, because I know they want what's best for their breed, and they love their breed, and they're very passionate about their breed, but then like that comes off so ugly, which leads us into like another not
Oh,
this specific post, but like Nathan, you had posted a video of
Yeah.
your Carrie, which is incidentally the same Carrie that you just competed with.
Yeah.
And she's just wearing a little bandana. Instead of backwards, it's forwards, so it's covering her eyes.
I put it on her like a blinder because she was getting activated by the other dogs on the table.
Yeah, and so we put the little blinder on her, and it helps her calm her down. And I had taken this cute little video of her like a while back because I had walked in from doing a mobile dog. So I came back and I walked in and I saw her, and she was so cute because it was like this peach bandana and it was adorable. And
It was a cute video.
as soon as I walked in and I started recording her, it was like she heard me talk. So then she like, you see her head like move around a little and like zoom in on me. And I thought it was so cute. And I showed Nathan later the next time he saw her for a maintenance bath. You know, and so then I was like, oh, this would be such a funny like video. She's like a little babushka. And, you know, so like we posted it, you know, like, because it was adorable. She's an adorable dog. She's wearing this adorable little babushka. It was cute how she like moved her head and then like zeroed in on me. It was just funny and cute. And we were really careful about how we phrase things because we are always trying to, like, we love the Carrie Blue in general. But we know that in like this other breeder, right? Like we love these dog breeds that are like struggling. So we're always really careful about how we phrase things, but she is very dog aggressive. And we said like, this is like a way you can, cause I think if she were to go anywhere else that it doesn't know anything about Carries, they would just muzzle her the whole time. And they, you know what I mean? She would be stressed out and
there's reactivity and then there's like
aggressive.
She's like just wants them.
She is aggressive.
It's not like
she's not just reactive
too, but it's not just reactivity. Some people were like, oh, but you know, like without dragging it on like too much, like some breeders started to come for me for this video.
They were really upset about it.
They were really upset because they're like, it casts our breed in a bad light. And given I didn't say it was a Carrie. I think
we hashtagged Carrie Blue, but that was it.
But
we
I just said this and it was just a cute video.
We just said
it's
this
gotten
dog
over
is-
10 million views so far.
I think it's at like 12 million. And we're like, you know, this dog is dog aggressive, but we love her and she's an angel for everything else. She's just dog aggressive. And the blinder helps her. It really does. It like,
I was telling you, it's like a falcon hood, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
it's like a noticeable difference.
Sometimes I throw a towel over a dog's head to do the snails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have gotten videos since that from other groomers that tried it on different breeds and were like, oh my God, why have I never done this before?
I did it on a doodle puppy who was just so excited. He was so happy. And I did it and he was totally fine. And like I talked to him, he wagged his tail.
It was
And so-
very
he was
cute.
just like,
And so the breeders are some of them are coming for me, and I said, you know, like, look, to me,
I
they wanted me to
appreciate
take
you're
it down, and I
passionate.
said, you know, I appreciate you, but also, it's important to me to make sure that I was showing an alternative way, right? Like, you don't have to like muzzle every dog that's barking at another dog. You don't have to like restrain them. That was
And
a
as
different.
much as we would like to, you know, because some people suggested booking her on a slower day, but like our salon is never slow.
Yeah, and that's not a glow or something, but like it just literally is never slow. So, you know, putting a blinder on was a way to keep her calm and happy without
She was fine,
stressing
not
everyone out in the
stressed.
salon.
She can breathe regular.
She could see. She could still see
It's
shadows,
just
but-
not as well.
I think the wild thing to me about the whole thing is that you apparently said that all Carries suck and they're all aggressive and they're all horrible by that 5-second thing with the. Like, I just don't understand how that video turned into the conversation it turned into.
breeder
That is
hate.
wild.
Breed hate.
Yeah, well, then people-
Well, somebody
I've
even-
seen
yeah.
content online where people literally, the influencer people as well, like the dog is muzzled and they're thrashing on the table. They literally show thrashing and that's 100% okay. But imagine if they went to somebody else who wasn't as experienced as you with the Carrie. Like you said, they would have been muzzling it and stressing it out and like been like,
Or the dog
I
wouldn't be
can't do
getting
this or it wouldn't be
groomed.
getting
Yeah.
groomed.
Or
She
another
was-
dog
she
potentially grabbed.
wasn't. I've literally seen dogs. People post dogs thrashing on their table, half shaved, matted. So
Yeah,
it's like
strong,
it's wild.
Leashed in the front, leashed in the back.
Or
I only
like
had to have one lead on
the
her.
groomer helper too, and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's like I've seen dogs like hooked down, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
that's just
So
my
it's just
opinion.
And the thing that because we talked about, I said, look, I understand, right? Because like they're very passionate about their breeds. They love their breeds. Their breeds are endangered and they don't want it to be a bad look. And I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't, because they're like, well, look at these comments. Because, there's comments like, of course it's a Carrie, or, but I was like, if it had been a Yorkie, people would have said the exact same thing. They would have been like, of course it's a Yorkie,
or
a Shih Tzu, or a German Shepherd, or a Pit. They would have been like, it's always the Pit Bull, or it's always the Shih Tzu. They're crazy.
You
Or
didn't mention Chihuahua though.
yeah.
Oh,
It's always Chuck.
So I felt
to-
like they took it very personally for no reason.
But
Well, not
also-
to mention how many people thought it was Nayu and like
Yeah,
didn't
most
know
people
what
thought it
was.
was a Schnauzer or something.
So many people
like-
thought it was a Schnauzer.
That just tells you the state of Schnauzers and like the pet Schnauzers nowadays with the mega coats and stuff. But it made me think like, oh, brain fart.
It was really unfortunate because like somebody was like, you should take it down, and then they were like, people aren't going to loan you their dogs anymore, and it was just really disheartening because we love the Carrie a lot and we respect them a lot, and there was even somebody who commented who is a Carrie breeder. And they were like, oh, I've been to a dog show or two where a Carrie's been blindfolded. So it's not even like it's the first time this has ever
I've gotten
happened.
more Carrie people that's saying positive things than the one or two people that were saying negative things.
We've had people reach out to pet parents of Carries that are like, do you know a Carrie groomer in my area? Because like, I love your videos. And
You understand them.
Yeah, you
But
understand
also,
Carries.
I think there's this weird thing too because I understand the Carrie breeders are fighting they're fighting a stigma to their breed, right? But when we place Scotty, we're Scotty breeders. When I place a Scotty,
I'm breeding for good temperament, but
yes, but I don't go, hey, this dog is super friendly with everybody and every pack. It'll fit in perfectly. No,
It's a
I'm
terrier.
realistic. I go, this is a terrier. You treat them like a terrier. Sometimes they could be a little reactive on certain things. I set realistic expectations.
I have
I don't think it's
realistic
fair to be
expectations.
a breeder with a really powerful dog and be like, these dogs they don't have no,
they're
their
perfect no
temperaments
matter
are
what.
perfect, and some of them are, but it's just not fair to set
Well,
this like
any breed-
expectation of.
Any breed that gets sent home with any pack, there's always the potential they won't get along. That's just like the realities.
And any dog can
any dog can be
behavioral
reactive or
issues
aggressive or
but like this expectation of like, oh no, I only like. Let's be real, okay? Yeah, sometimes they could be reactive, or sometimes they could be dog aggressive. It's okay.
But any dog has the power to be dog aggressive. We had literally a 17-year-old Shih Tzu that came in the other day. Its owner says, "Do not put it with other dogs. It will bite other dogs." And we're like, "Oh,
Well,
It'll
we have
come
we have
Dunzo.
6 Scotties here. No, 7 Scotties here, and one of them separate because they'll fight if they're together.
It
Like,
happens,
I'm
yeah.
okay saying that. I'm not like, oh, I gotta pretend like they're actually all together.
Scotty
and-
hater.
Yeah, no,
Mine was
I'm just
Sean.
realistic.
You see it all
He's
the, you
weird
see
with
it
some
all
males.
the time at the shows too, like when you guys are helping out.
These
or
ones can be together.
When you guys
These
are
ones can
helping
be
out,
together.
exactly. You see, it's don't walk that one with this one, and it's like clockwork. This one goes here. This one cannot be with this one. Put this one up there. Like
Yeah,
like.
and I think the
People should go to more dog shows,
Yeah.
actually.
And I'm happy for the people that did post like to me because I feel like they love their breed, and that's
yeah,
good.
they're passionate and they care, and I appreciate that because, like, one person was like, "I'm working really hard on temperament," and I was like, "That's awesome. I'm super grateful," But like, at the same time, like, we're not dragging this breed. We love this breed. We actually post a lot of positive content about this breed on a regular basis. It's just a cute video that.
Another Carrie from me.
It's literally
there's a
tattooed
funny-
on
It's just a
him,
cute
and it's his
video
logo.
somebody took too personally.
There was a comment though from like a regular person that said to that comment that said, well, actually I was watching this and I don't know anything about dogs, but
Now I think that
now
they're-
I have an expectation that this breed is aggressive because you said you breed for this and you breed for that, and I just seen a video of a dog with a blinder on and didn't think anything more beyond that.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything.
And I'm like,
but
well, you kind of shot yourself. So like, social media is a wild beast, right?
yeah, your defensiveness is saying a lot right now.
Yeah, and it's.
And I get it, right? Because
But
people are
that's
trying to do
that's
they're
social
trying
media,
to,
right?
you
It's
know.
it's this craziness.
So it was a little disheartening,
Yeah.
but
Because I love that breed. I love the Carrie Blue. I love them.
And that dog.
I love
and that dog,
particular dog
yeah.
over the moon, right? I love
she's
that
the dog you won first place with. We love that dog.
And her owners know she is.
Well,
hot.
the owner allows me to travel with that dog because she trusts in my level of knowledge of it.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be like, she's fine. I know she's dog aggressive. So I treat her as such, right? And I keep her safe by keeping other dogs away from her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Every time you travel with her in competitions, it works so well. No one's ever gotten in a fight. No one's ever done anything. No one's ever.
Well, I walk into the room and I make sure everybody knows in this room, I'm here with this dog. She is reactive and dog aggressive.
Don't come near
Everybody
us.
needs to know this.
Yeah.
Look at this dog. Okay, we're all on it. So because and
you like tell us multiple times.
And
like,
you
I
guys
get
are-
it, Nathan.
this lady's trusting me with her baby, right? She's so like
We also don't want to be one of those horror stories.
yeah.
Just
Dog
in
for-
general, with any dogs we bring, we're very cautious, especially if we don't know them well enough.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
anyways,
So,
I think
do we have
like
any
round
good?
it up.
Do
I
we
think
have any
round it
good
up.
note things to end on?
Well, I think if we round it up, it was like I think the industry is in a good place.
I do.
Yeah, I do think the industry's in a great place. I think, like we've been saying this whole hour and a half almost,
Yeah, let's just move on.
we just have to.
Accept the future
There's
for what it
change.
is.
It's gonna happen.
There's things we can
We-
do to mediate that if we're not
We
happy.
choose if we want to move with it or stay in the back. Either way, it's gonna happen. We should be more conscious of like who we pay attention to and who we're giving a platform to.
Yeah, I
right?
knew I said that because you just summed it all up so
Yeah.
beautifully. Good job.
Uh,
Yeah.
Do we have anything funny?
No.
No. Okay.
what do
Your
you
face.
call a
Puce.
fish with
No,
no eye?
What?
I don't know. What do you call it?
Uh,
My son told me a funny ass one the other day, right? Listen to this. Did you know that dinosaurs couldn't eat fish even if they wanted to?
No.
Yeah. Because they're dead.
Stupid. Your son's
funny,
lame.
isn't it?
Your son's lame.
It's
Made
funny
you
'cause
laugh.
it's dumb.
It did. It did its job. It did its job. Well, all right. That was happy. We can end it there. That was happy.
with dead dinosaurs.
Oh, I do want to say though, if there's any of the people, I want to make content with some of these. I would love to make content with and help uplift the older school groomers. I would love to make content with you. You know who I'm talking to, and I'd love to uplift you into my portion of the whatever you want to call it. But I'd love to make content with you. So, hit me up.
Also, we are coming close to Barkleigh nominations. Well, those of you who are not currently, if you're not currently subscribed to Barkleigh, you need to go to their website and get signed up to be on their mailing list. I do believe that they automatically send like people that go to shows or take classes and things like that. I do think they automatically will send you Barkleigh nominations. But if you haven't and you need to sign up, go and do it, because I've had like my employees before have not gotten their like nomination emails because they signed up too close, and then they have to message Barkleigh and be like, "Where's my stuff?" But the Barkleigh nominations is a platform where you can nominate your favorite a lot of things. You can nominate your favorite up and coming speakers. You can nominate for congeniality. You can nominate for podcasts. You can nominate for all sorts of things, and you get to put in who you would like to see on the final ballot.
Nothing would
or influencer or videos or whatever's
Or
Nothing-
educator, right?
or educators.
AKC
or
Master Groomer of the Year.
AKC Master Groomer of the Year. Lots of things. So many fun categories.
Nothing would make me happier than being on stage with the four of you. That would
I
just
know.
be so fucking cool, right?
I know.
Gotta get a nice dress.
I know. We got. I like. Should we?
First
First,
we
have
gotta
to
see if
pick
we
a
get
theme
nominated.
and get matchies.
We should all dress in black. Because the boys want to do black, right?
I
we
mean,
should
I'm
dress
down.
in black.
Yes.
I'm
You
wearing
should
black,
get a
whether
black,
it's your theme
a
or not.
black shiny dress, and I'll do a black tuxedo. Are you guys gonna wear tuxedos?
No.
To the thing?
They're gonna wear.
Why
They're
not?
gonna wear what they're wearing now. No.
Yeah.
To get up on stage, nothing's better than
We don't
having
even know
a
if we're
fitted
nominated.
tuxedo.
If we get nominated, I'll think about it.
We'll think about the wardrobe.
I know my
then.
answer, and it is
Juan, you
no.
can stand
Why?
behind
You just don't like
me.
wearing stuff like that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, me neither.
I
Too dressy,
sweat in
dressy.
shorts and a t-shirt, bro. You ain't gonna wear like a suit.
Yeah.
No.
You'll
Go
look hot
through
in it.
dinner. Last time I went, I got food poisoning. But anyways,
I'll dress
I
nice.
forgot
I don't know if
about
it'll be a
that.
tux, but I'll
that was a
dress
couple years
nice.
ago.
I'll try.
I'll try.
You really want me to wear a suit? I don't.
I'm gonna get
Or
one of
what
those
about
little
just a
fat
button up
body
and a
fans.
button up shirt?
Yeah,
I can do.
he
I can do.
wears
I
buttons.
can wear a button up and
slacks.
slacks. I just won't wear the jacket.
Yeah.
What about
I'm
a
gonna
vest? What about a vest?
No.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna dress up really, really pretty. really, really pretty.
Well, me and Katie can match, and you guys can all wear black too.
I already have an idea for a black dress I want to wear.
Okay, you want a black dress? Then I
You
can
can do that, or you
Well,
guys
yeah,
can
'cause
be
if
the
we're
I
dark.
think
wearing
I'm gonna
black, we
do
gotta
a-
do black.
All right. Well,
Darker blue
everybody,
color.
thank you so much for
Hey, if
spending
you-
time with us.
Send us pictures of cute dresses
Yeah.
for me.
And me.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.